Last time we talked about this software development project and what is the influence of reuse in the development of a software project. I would like to start with this to show you how it is difficult to develop a project if it is a big one. I don't know whether you can read the writings. So the first one is how the customer defined what he needs. Second one is the project leader, how he understands what the customer defines. The third one is the system analyst, the perfect guy, how he designed it. And the next one is how the programmer did, really. And then the next one is the business manager is describing back to the customer. And then the project was documented with nothing. And actually, this is what was installed to the customers. And this is how he was built. And later on, this is how it was supported. And this was, in the beginning, what the customer really needed. See, this whole thing is not very simple. It's very complicated, actually. You have to be careful on what you need, how to describe it. And so this was just an example of giving you an idea about the difficulty level of developing a project. So software systems are often created incrementally. You don't do it at once instantly. You develop it step by step. So there are many instances in which parts of a system being developed become usable before the whole system is being released, right? Because you're developing it incrementally. If it's a huge thing, there might be some cases where some part of the project which is finished earlier than the whole thing might be useful, which makes sense. For example, let's talk about an enterprise resource planning. This is a huge software implementation. So a certain part of this, which I give an example here, payroll, could provide functionality even before the entire system is implemented. So in this presentation, we're going to look into two key things in developing software project. First one is sequence. If that is the case, if some part of the project gives you functionality before the whole thing is being created, then in what sequence would you release the project? Will the payroll be first released or another functionality be released so that the users can use it before they receive the whole thing? Second, if you are making this huge project, there might be cases where some part of the project, some piece of code is repeating itself within the whole project. Will it make sense to create that repeating part of the code when it appears the first time, reusable? When I say reuse, just think about recycle. So you are going to use it again and again when it appears in the project. So will it make sense to make it reusable or not? So those are the two things we're going to look at. So there's an actual case of this reusability. There is this huge project which was conducted within a large oil exploration firm. All right? And the firm initiated a project to convert this system to a Microsoft Windows application. So this is very, it happens, all right? So you have some system which was developed 20 years before, and now everything is running in Microsoft products environment. So you want to change it back into some Microsoft compatible environment. So this happens. So then the users wanted converted part of the system to be released to them because these parts provided useful functionality, even though the entire system was not available. So they just asked the developers to provide them the parts which are finished earlier so they can begin using it and get used to it. So this is, again, another example on how a project looks like and what I mean. One part of the project being created earlier and be released might provide some functionality. So there are three groups. When I say group is the part of the project which provides functionality, like sales. So you can keep track of your sales if you just use this part of the project. And you can use it before even the entire project is released. So financial and human resources. I just showed three of them. Under each group, you're going to see elements. So invoicing, shipping, order scheduling, order placement. These are the things that you use when you keep track of your sales. These are the things that you need information for. But each one of these elements under one group do not provide functionality, which means if I give you invoicing, it's not going to mean anything to you. You cannot use it by itself. You can only use invoicing element when I provide you the whole group of sales. Okay? Again, receivables, not gonna able to use it, but you can only use it when I give you the whole financial group. Alright. But there is something important here. There are some elements which appear under more than one group. Right? Look at this receivables. This element is being used under sales group and financial group. In other words, if I am the project developer, if I'm making the program, all right, I'm gonna use this element for sales group and financial group. So the question is, when I create this element for the first time for, let's say, sales group, should I create this in such a way that I don't have to spend too much time on this element again when I create financial group? Why? Because the first time I created, I spent a little bit more time to make it reusable. So the next time I need it, I'm just going to spend small effort and it's going to be reusable. So those are the two things we should consider when you create a big software project. First, sequence. In which order you should release the groups. This is an input that you have to receive from users. They're going to tell you which group is going to give them more value, more functionality. Second, if there are some elements repeating under different groups, okay, should you make them reusable? Does it work? Really work? Is it really work or not? That's the decision that the programmer has to take.